Welcome to Cox Forum. Tonight, indeed, we're talking about the wireless city. And we have a couple of folks here who happen to come from an organization called just that, the Wireless City. We welcome tonight to Cox Forum Glenn Yopes. He's the president and CEO of the Wireless City. And also we welcome back to our program Denise Brown, who besides being obviously a community advocate, community safety advocate for so many things, is also a community safety advocate as managing director on the board of the Wireless City as well. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
And of course, we invite you to at any point to log on cox3.com and find out about the show at any point during the show tonight. You know, if you're connected, you can do that right now. As a matter of fact, you probably have a wireless network in your house. So Glenn, what's the difference between wireless in the house and wireless municipalities?
There really is no difference. It's really more of an expanded version of what people are enjoying in their households today.
So tell me the concept behind the Wireless City, which is the organization.
Sure. Essentially, large service providers throughout the country and throughout the world are trying to integrate and establish territorial rights to cities so as to implement and deploy a fully wireless network. And their objective is really to go out and make cities wireless by giving communities access to the internet, but also look at as a springboard to increase their own subscriber base.
Mm-hmm. So how do you guys step in? Where do you guys come in?
Well, our part of the equation really has to do with what we call the pre-deployment side, and we view this whole wireless movement as there's the pre-deployment, what takes place and what the efforts are made before cities go wireless, and then what happens after they go wireless. And that's what really excites us, Terry, is because our whole methodology is about how can we allow and show city managers the value of integrating technology as a means to reshape their communities and use it as a tool to really stimulate economic development, which is one of the three most important reasons why cities are taking the actions that they are to embrace this whole wireless movement.
Mm-hmm. So what does wireless communities have to do with community safety, Denise?
Well, I jumped on board because when I asked Glenn came to me and he said, Denise, he goes, I think this would be great for you because I travel around the world speaking about community safety, implementing programs. So I asked him, I said, Glenn, I said, will this, first and foremost, I said, will the courts be able to communicate to one another? Because I figured if a family court, a civil court, a criminal court can communicate, then no perpetrator would fall through the cracks. And that's where I got real excited because he said, yes, this is something that is possible through this portal.
Yeah, essentially, it's interesting. Once the networks are deployed, Terry, the question is who's going to use them? Mm-hmm. Because like you said, currently several households, especially here in South Orange County, have wireless networks. Mm-hmm. But what happens when it's deployed on a citywide basis? Who's going to use it? For us, we felt that one of the large and most important reasons for having a wireless city is to make cities safer. As you know, the events of 9/11 brought about a tremendous amount of awareness of how important it is for fire, police, and ambulance to communicate on a real-time basis. In fact, Homeland Security today has created new grant monies so that cities can start adopting new wireless technology so those three public safety groups can start communicating on a real-time basis. But when we looked at public safety and we looked at the importance of getting citizens to engage with such a network, we said that one of the largest epidemics in this country is women and children's safety. And we thought that if we can find someone to help us propel the interest and understanding of how a wireless city can make cities safer at the grassroots community level, we felt there's no one better in this world to do it than Denise Brown. And we really look at her as an ambassador for women and children's safety, and we hope that as networks start to become deployed, that Denise can take a greater role in educating citizens and communities.
Mm-hmm. You know, we've talked, about, off camera about how our kids are getting so involved with the internet, and the more you give access to the internet to kids, I guess the more you do have to be concerned about how teens are using the internet.
Well, you do, and what we have here in the cities is our neighborhood watch programs. And so the neighborhood watch programs, gosh, it was years ago when two law enforcement officers, they knew that they had domestic violence in their neighborhood. So they said, okay, well, how can we implement this or get this involved in the community with the people? And so, you know, taking that and putting it online and having, you know, the cities that are online and having communities online and having them chat and talk and being able to, you know, talk to the law enforcement and to call 911 that way, or, you know, go online and speak to one another and let people know that things are happening and, you know, good, bad, or indifferent, and keeping their children safe, you know, opening up those garage doors again like we were talking about. When we were children, the garage doors were open. We were running from house to house, and that's what we want to do again. And the Neighborhood Watch program, if we can implement that online, which we can, that will create another way of keeping our community safer and our children safer.
Let's not forget that technology is being embraced by what we call the digital natives, those Generation X and Y groups that have really have been raised through the use of the internet. So it's really interesting as we speak to city leaders throughout the country and we start trying to understand the resistance to and or lack of understanding of why a wireless city should be embraced. We always go back to reminding them that the longevity of a city and the identity of a city and the way values and cultures are formed have to start from within. And those people who are going to start developing those cultures and values and identities will be our children. So to these wireless networks, it's interesting. Our generations, I don't think, are going to be able to fully enjoy them, but our children will.
To explain a little bit more, I mean, I suspect as you're talking to these different city leaders, you have to remind them what it is their kids are looking at. What is sort of the profile of this, you know?
Do they really even think about that yet, though? I mean, are they really thinking about something like that? I mean, isn't that where, you know, I don't think they really consider that. I don't think they think about what the outcome will be and how our neighborhoods will, you know, how they can take advantage of it. I mean, they understand the public safety, the ambulance, the fire, the law enforcement. They understand that, the public safety side of it. But I don't know if they really understand the greatness that, you know, a city going wireless could have on the people of the community and the people of the city.
Sure. Well, there's several things. Number one is that today community groups are blossoming faster than ever within our cities, and the children and the kids are using cellular phones more than ever. And what's interesting for people to understand is that a wireless city, it's not just about having internet access. In fact, if that's what the objective was, Terry, I wouldn't support it. The support is in making sure that people are going to understand that applications are going to come online that are going to create new ways of communicating, rapid communication, and find new ways to start building communities again.
And we're going to continue with that thought, because I want to really explore what it means to be wireless beyond just internet access. Sure. We'll do that coming up in our next segment, so don't go away.
This generation thinks really is the way a city should be looking at how it's going to adopt, deploy, and provide all of the services from voice over IP, video, and just internet access.
Let's not do it wrong the first time. Let's do it right. Let's work together, making this the most powerful movement that we can do, making our community safe. Our children are going to be growing up in a safe community, and since they are our future, that is what we as parents owe them.
Welcome back to Cox Forum. Indeed, we're talking to the two folks you just saw there who were, was that a conference?
Yeah, that was our conference last October.
We've got another one coming up soon. We'll be talking about that a little bit later, but let's reintroduce our guest tonight. Glenn Yopes, the President and CEO of the Wireless City, and Denise Brown, who's a Managing Director and Community Safety Advocate for the Wireless City. Welcome back. As we were leaving, we were talking about the fact that a lot of us think about wireless. We think about sitting in our hotel room with our laptop and being able to access the internet. When we left, you were saying it's more than that. What do you really mean from a kind of a technology point of view? What is a wireless city?
Well, first of all, it's a city that's connected and has access to high-speed communication, keeping it really simple. And the analogy that I always use is that being a wireless city is much like having the Windows operating platform. It's only as good as the applications that work off of it. And that's what city leaders and citizens of communities need to start looking at, that the future of a network community will take place when we start creating applications that work off the network to start providing new tools that allow us to spearhead and accelerate governance plans and small business plans and community development plans. And I think I mentioned during the break that the importance of a digital community will really take place and precedence once we start seeing real economic development start coming from within.